Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new series on my channel. This is E3 Rewind. What do we do here? Well, we go back through the past, we take a look at different E3 press conferences that occurred, and we talk over them and just find out what happened, compare them to the present day, and just take some lessons, I guess, from the E3 press conferences of yesteryear. What I want to do this, well, you guys know I'm a huge fan of E3. I love, the event, the excitedness, the hype, and everything that goes with it. For me, it's something of an event that's more important than Christmas, and it may be crazy, but I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. And the first time I started paying attention to E3 and understanding what it was and what happened and when things got announced was E3 2004. Now, I never actually watched this press conference at the time because I believed that, in those days streaming was kind of impossible, and the only way I got my information was kind of secondhand through magazines. And 2004 is a special year. Why? Well, especially for Nintendo, it was the year that they hired Reggie Fils-Aimé, the big man in charge of Nintendo of America. You all know him, you all love him. A great personality and someone who really added a huge amount of charm and just excitement to the whole Nintendo E3 proceedings. So we've got him coming up. We've got the first reveal of the original Nintendo DS, something that I was extremely excited about at the time. And of course, perhaps one of the most famous moments in E3 history, the Twilight Princess trailer. So, with all that preamble out the way, what do you say let's start watching? Let's go to E3 2004 with Nintendo. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Man, look at that text. That text is something out of, Windows Movie Maker, man! It's always funny to go back and look at the, the way they edited video and trailers back in the day, because the fonts that they're using and the way they're positioning them and the slow zooms and the twizzle effects and the fade-ins and fade-outs, they're so emblematic of real amateur video making back in the day. So anyway, yeah, this is they always kind of open with the sizzle reel, it seems. A lot of companies still do these days, Sony most of all, but Nintendo clearly doing a similar thing. We're seeing some Metroid Prime going in. There's some really interesting games that looks like some of them never came out. Oh, Resident Evil, of course, Resident Evil 4, that was a huge one. And I think this was also the year when Nintendo were trying to push their more violent kind of adult side. You got things like Killer 7, things like Resident Evil 4. And of course, with having Reggie there saying, I'm here to take names and kick asses, or whatever he says, loads of great stuff happening in their push, I guess, towards the more adult market, because I guess at the time, GameCube, Nintendo was getting a bad rap for being very kid-friendly, so they're trying to break out that mold to some degree. And as you can see, a hot sizzle trailer, some great stuff in there, a bit of Paper Mario, real good stuff. A lot of people love that Paper Mario GameCube game.
My name is Reggie, I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
There you go, there's the famous line. Absolutely. Wow, they instantly open with Metroid Prime 2 trailer? That's very fascinating. Huh. So this is 2004. The original Metroid Prime was 2002, I believe. So that's a good window, a 2-year window before the reveal of the next one. So it's interesting. I actually own a copy of Metroid Prime 2. I'm also going to own a copy of it on Wii because of the brand new sale on Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii U eShop. So I will maybe get a chance to play it. Problem I have with Metroid Prime 2, it's really fucking hard, especially on GameCube. It's a difficult game, and it's also it's not something that I enjoy playing because the atmosphere is so dark and you're always in these horrible dark areas. When you're in the dark world, you have to go around finding light pools to jump into. So yeah, there's some issues I have with it, but it's totally a worthwhile game to go back to. In any case, yeah, Dark Samus here. Interesting, it's just the way that they position trailers. This doesn't even seem like your traditional trailer that you would see these days. There aren't many short, cuts. That whole scene with Samus and Dark Samus is a very long kind of thing. And of course, Nintendo being Nintendo, very rarely do they show any kind of CGI nonsense, which something I very much respect Nintendo for, because a lot of companies these days, you take a look at half the fucking trailers at Sony and Microsoft's press conference, they're all just CGI nonsense bullshit with zero gameplay. Like, what the fuck do I care about a CGI nonsense bullshit trailer? That shows me nothing about the game. That tells me nothing. Nintendo often very, very good about actually showing you the game that you're going to be playing. So, I do appreciate that. They're giving you a really good look here. But there we go. Prime 2. Very, very fascinating stuff. I wonder if this was the first reveal of Prime 2. Seems like people are excited about it. What do you got for us, Reggie?
We like games with big stars and big explosions.
Yeah, you do. Shit, what is he... Is this like he takes like a couple lines, then trailer, then a couple more lines, then trailer? Because, man, it's pretty hot stuff. You're going to go from fucking Metroid Prime 2 to Star Fox. And, of course, everyone knows Star Fox Adventures didn't turn out to be too great. Very much kind of a Zelda clone of its own right. But, I guess it was still exciting for people at the time, right? You know, it's a new Star Fox game, some new hope here for the franchise. I guess the Star Fox game that came before that... Oh, no, this is not Adventures. What am I saying? Adventures was a GameCube launch title. This is Assault. So, yeah, this is actually... This definitely is a renewed hope for a lot of people, as it seems. Assault is definitely one of those games I'd like to pick up at some point. I really hope it actually comes to the Virtual Console, you know, when GameCube games eventually get their potential time in the sun, when that ever happens, if it does on Wii U Virtual Console. Star Fox Assault is one of those real curiosities that'd be nice to go back to. I suppose it probably wouldn't be too hard to find like another copy. So, not even subtitled at that point, just like the new Star Fox. Very similar situation to we find ourselves in right now, the new Star Fox.
We like games so scary, they keep you up at night.
Yeah, you see, this whole attitude that they're taking, you know, hiring Reggie, making him like this badass guy, and talking about, you know, games that are scary and horror-filled. Oh, seems technical problems. Oh, there we go. Of course, their flagship game from the third parties, Resident Evil 4. Part of the infamous Capcom 5. 5 games Capcom promised would stay exclusive to GameCube. And, well, you know how history went. That didn't end up happening. But, at least for a limited time, they were exclusive to GameCube. So, there's that. Resident Evil 4, though, a lot of people's kind of favorite game of all time, ranks very highly. It's extremely influential, but not something I particularly want to play. As a lot of you guys probably know, I hate horror. I find it terrifying, and it's like when I sit down to play a video game, I don't want to sit there and just shit myself, right? I just want to relax and enjoy, and horror games do not do that. Man, look at this stuff. This looks fucking great. Like, your GameCube was not particularly the most powerful console, but jeez, some of the stuff they're showing off here looks fan-fucking-tastic. And no doubt Resident Evil 4 is one of the best-looking games on the system. Look at those flame effects, those explosions. It's crazy good. And massive cheer from the crowd. Definitely seems like, I don't know, back in these days, I guess people in the crowd are much more engaged.
It's a new day.
Screaming and shouting.
A new day for me, and a new day for Nintendo. So let's get a couple things straight right off the bat.
Go on, Reggie, what you got us?
Part of my job is finding a way for you, the game experts, to have fun.
I love having fun. That's all I'm all about.
At the same time, I understand if you're among the terminally hip, Nintendo isn't your only choice for gaming.
The terminally hip.
But maybe what you've already seen helps you understand that we're serious about expanding what we do.
He's addressing it straight up.
We also understand that we're not going to run our company just for hardcore gamers. There are gamers out there who aren't as knowledgeable as you. Well, gamers who aren't your age.
Tip of the hat to the Wii.
Gamers who don't have your tastes. Gamers who live for Mario and Yoshi.
Look at Reggie being
Pokemon.
All progressive here.
It's my job, it's Nintendo's job to make sure we satisfy all the gamers.
Well, that's what you certainly did the generation after, isn't it, mate? Made a buttload of money.
We know that this is your third stop on the press tour over the last 24 hours.
Of course, Nintendo always goes last.
What you've seen and heard
in the press conferences.
So let me draw a comparison.
See,
one of our competitors is a manufacturer in Japan who wants to capture every one of your entertainment dollars.
I love that he calls out Microsoft and Sony
between all your electronics devices.
Like, it's something that Nintendo would never do today.
Sticks.
But like back then, they were directly competing. Certainly,
GameCube,
they were directly competing with Microsoft and Sony.
And there's another
and he is just shit-talking them.
Who doesn't care what you do, as long as you do it on their operating system.
He's a funny guy. He's good. I thought just cheers. Absolutely.
We're not that company either.
We're Nintendo.
Over the years, I know you've heard a lot of Nintendo people say, we're all about the game.
You think, Reggie?
What?
You think maybe it's you?
Whether you're talking about
E3 2013,
Tetris, Madden or Mario, Metal Gear or Resident Evil, he with the best games wins.
Absolutely.
Always been that way, always will.
Stay true to those words, Reggie.
As this company moves forward, you're going to see more Nintendo games and different Nintendo games, and most importantly, new ways for you to relate to your games. But let me tell you one other thing. This is not a promise for what we're going to do sometime in the future. It's what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
And if you don't realize that, listen closely. While others are talking, Nintendo is acting. Let me ask you a question.
All right, ask me a question.
What company right now is driving category sales?
Category sales?
What
the fuck does category sales mean?
You're wrong.
The fuck? What?
We have momentum. Have had it since late last year.
Yeah, see, I think this was still on the edge of the era when Nintendo and all the companies talk about sales data and finances and business jargon.
I'd like you to welcome a guy who's been essential in building that momentum, George Harrison.
George Harrison. He left quite a long time ago, I believe, Nintendo. But always instrumental in the American side of things.
Well, good morning. Reggie mentioned what's going on in the market right now, so let's take a look. This graph shows
here we go. Well, okay. As I was saying, I very much remember, like, back in the day when E3 was kind of, when I started paying attention to it, they began moving away from this kind of presentation stuff where they just talk about the finances. Look at us, look at our graphs and our bars. Every company did it. Really, when you look back at the very early E3 press conferences, like almost half of them were taken up by this stuff. The rest of it was fantastic. But like all this nonsense.
We're up another 7%.
Yeah, it's just like,
so without Nintendo,
I don't know, because at some point E3 started moving from something that was basically there to show off to retailers the products coming up, to a show which was much more about the fans and about the hype and about the, the excitement. And so, they ended up dropping a lot of these bars and graphs. They did continue quite a bit. When Nintendo were doing really well in the Wii era, they just had ridiculous bars because they were selling out everything. And it just made them look good. But of course, you're always going to have this stuff, so...
Over the last year, Sony has sold through about 6 million...
Look at this. This is direct. I'm almost astounded. I'm almost astounded that there is direct comparisons being drawn by name. Like, they are actually showing, like, look at this. Look at the difference between us.
Nintendo sold through over 3.3 million units of GameCube, a jump of 41%. And yes, that is good for second place. So when you run a software equation, you get a very similar answer.
I don't know, man.
It's GameCube is more than holding its own.
The thing that I hate the most about modern-day Nintendo is their lack of acknowledgement of the other platform holders.
Now,
Like, you
overall,
will never get
the
a
360
candid
combined
interview
sold
with
about
Reggie
38
about
million units in this
Xbox or
generation.
PlayStation. Never. But
we
you can
believe
go
that the potential
across
for
to
this
Shuhei
generation is
Yoshida,
more
who
than
works at
55
Sony,
million
and say, what do you
units.
think of Nintendo? He'll give you a
That
straight, honest
means
answer.
there are
Go to Phil
almost 20
Spencer.
million
Phil Spencer,
units
head of
still
Xbox.
to be
Ask him
sold.
about Nintendo. He'll give you a straight-up
You have to
answer and
ask
talk about it
yourself,
candidly.
what will sell
Ask
them?
Reggie. He'll spit
Well,
out a PR
this is
bullshit
the
line
fourth
to you about how they
system
don't
that
care.
Nintendo has introduced
Obviously,
and
you know,
managed
Nintendo
the
aren't
back half of a console
directly
cycle.
competing anymore
We've
with
learned that success
Microsoft
here
and
always
Sony,
relies
but
on the same
you know
three
what I mean.
things.
Like, I would really
First,
like it for them,
We've all burned
you know,
through the
for some
hardcore
point
early
to just get out
adopters,
of that
the
PR
gamers who want
bullshit
the most
nonsense
extreme challenges.
and start
They
acknowledging
want
the
them to occupy
competition.
them for weeks or days at a time. But the late adopters want something else. They want pure entertainment. Entertainment that's easy to get into, and often just for a quick burst of time.
This looks like the GameCube
Second,
memory card
want
save
familiarity.
screen.
They want names and
I guess.
characters from past generations that they're comfortable with.
Look at that
And
lineup.
finally, and most important,
Pretty much the
they
same.
want value.
That's what they've
They're
got
hunting
already.
for bargains.
Tell
Major
Nintendo.
play for minor pay.
Ah, right. So the player's
any of
choice
these
stuff,
three
yeah.
factors
I guess,
can
yeah,
be
they were
the
doing the
market
player's
share and
choice
back
stuff
up of the
around this
console
time
cycle.
for some of
If
the
you've got all
best-selling
three going for
games.
you,
You got your Metro
this
Primes
is what you get.
and just Mario
We
Sunshines.
dropped the Nintendo GameCube price in late September.
Oh, wow, okay.
After 30 days,
Interesting.
sales were up 50% over the same period in the previous year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they
After
totally had to
60
do that
days,
at this
they were
point.
up
At this point, GameCube
58%.
just wasn't doing very well. They
Counting
were,
through the holidays,
you know, just
even though we
behind
had
in the
already begun to
race
run out of
pretty
inventory,
badly.
We sold more than 73% more GameCubes than we did in the prior year.
But yeah, I mean, you know, what
Now, this
else are you
chart
going to do?
does
It's like,
two things.
if you kind of make a direct
First,
comparison, we've
it
got
shows you why Nintendo is
Microsoft
driving
in
growth for the industry.
a problem
the
right now
same
against
time,
Sony
it sets
with
the bar
them
for sales
having to
performance
drop
from
the
our console
price,
competitors.
and then they put it back up, and now
Those
they dropped the price
competitors
again.
dropped 73%
It's back down to
in their first
350 for an
90 days
Xbox
after the
One.
price drop. Well, we'll see.
Nintendo haven't been doing that with Wii U, though, which is
More importantly,
curious.
though, we suspect it will be
But,
quite some time until someone can match our $99 price point.
Yeah, man, $99 price
Value
point is
advantage,
fantastic for a
value-conscious
console.
market clearly remains with Nintendo.
GameCube was $129.99 sterling in the UK when I got mine. So,
so popular with the
you know,
mass market.
$99 is a very good
Top of our
proposition.
briefing, we showed you 3 games designed to move the souls of even the most veteran gamer.
Yeah, take a look at those
Expanding
three.
the
Those
GameCube's
three
appeal.
are
But
poignantly
we're not gonna
placed
do it by
as
ignoring the
more
casual players who are
hardcore,
just in
more
it for a little
adult,
bit of
more
fun.
mature experiences, mainly
On the show
Metroid
floor
and Resident
tomorrow,
Evil. Star
you'll
Fox,
see
you
our
know,
market
of
movers
course
in
can
action.
apply to a younger demographic,
Donkey
but, you know,
Kong
you
event.
look at it and it's all
A new
guns
Pac-Man.
and
A
planes
move
and
for
shooting and
advanced modes for
tanks,
GameCube.
right?
And Mario making 2 appearances in Mario
Advance was
Party
under
6
fire.
and in Paper Mario.
Paper Mario 2,
In all,
not subtitled
Nintendo's
with
GameCube
Thousand Year Door at
library
that
will go to
point.
more than 400 games this year.
That's
Common
a
factor
sizable
among all of
library.
them is fun.
Common factor is fun. Great.
Now,
Yeah.
new ways of interacting
I mean, yeah,
aren't just
sure.
limited to the GameCube. Now, as you're all aware, Pokemon has again taken the market by storm in Japan
Pokemon
with the new Fire Red
never
and
stops
Leaf
selling,
Green
does it?
editions.
This was when they
Sold nearly
realized they
2.5
could
million
milk the
copies
franchise
in
forever.
Less than 15 weeks.
2.5 million, less than
But there's a
15.
brand new kind of appeal here
I think
too.
that, like,
The
Alpha
ability to trade
Sapphire,
the Pokemon
Omega Ruby Alpha
with your
Sapphire
friends
sold like
using
3
Game Boy
million in like
Advance
2
wireless
weeks.
adapter.
So they've come
This
some
opens
way.
up whole new horizons for the creators.
Ah, yes.
In fact, you'll soon be seeing and playing wirelessly with more than a dozen titles.
Now, this adapter,
It's
very,
great
very
software
fascinating when
and
you kind of look at the
innovation like this
lineage of
that
how they're
pushed
moving
every
towards
competitor
the
out of the
DS
console
platform,
sorry,
where, of
portable
course,
game space.
you know, they're going to reveal here
And
in this
9
press
fierce
conference.
competitors have made a run at Game Boy in the past 15 years.
Because, of course, DS used wireless
9 have
for the first
failed.
time in a Nintendo
Game
handheld.
Boy doesn't just lead the handheld gaming market, it owns it. The Game Boy franchise this year is also making a significant revolution because of this feature, Game Boy Advance Video. No new hardware or accessories needed to play back pre-recorded material from these small
I
video packs.
was always
First
in the
titles will include
market
multiple episodes
for
of
buying
and
Pokemon
others
Game
on
Boy
one
Advance
pack.
video cartridges. I never
Will
owned
it
one.
sell?
I never did,
Initial
but I
orders are already over
really
2
wanted one
million
so
units.
bad. It was such a cool
We can look
idea.
forward to soon to
Like you
material
can watch
that's decidedly
Pokemon
older
episodes on your
appeal,
GBA.
and will have significantly larger
Fucking
memory
awesome,
capacity to allow
right?
even more
But,
video playback.
Alas, I never got
Well,
one,
wireless connection,
so
video
that's a
playback
shame.
really widened Game Boy's appeal. But in an important sense, that appeal is already expanding.
Yes,
it
it
may
is.
surprise you to learn that 1/3 of all Game Boy Advance SP users are over the age of 18.
Huh.
And our classic NES line, coming in
Interesting.
June, will bump the age appeal even higher.
Right, because you're just going to rely on old people to buy your games.
And 8 classic games.
Man, remember when they charged £15 for like fucking Excite Bike? I was really interested by those NES Game Boy games, but I just was like, wasn't worth it at that point.
There is no doubt in our minds that the PSP will have some initial appeal for exactly the demographic in this audience today.
They're just shouting out the PSP.
Put it this way.
It's ridiculous. Unfathomable to me.
It's on the ballot next spring. More than 25 million Americans will have already voted for Game Boy Advance.
All right. What, is this a prediction?
Now, if you're asking whether PSP can catch Game Boy Advance,
no, that's
first ask,
current
can the
numbers.
PS2 catch Game Boy Advance? Since its
Fucking
launch in June of
just
2001,
shouting out.
Game Boy Advance has sold more units than PlayStation 2.
Well, unfortunately for you, Sonny Jim, PS2 sold 150 million, so can't really go to the bank on that bar chart in the history books, as it were.
PSP all by itself has done exactly the same thing. So we sit today with a roughly 100% market share of the handheld market.
Yes, pretty much.
Will that decline?
Nope.
Well, it certainly can't go up.
No, well, yeah, it can go up because you kind of destroyed everyone with the DS.
Sony has to climb. Game Boy Advance SP is built to be tossed
The first of many mountains that Sony has to climb. It's just, man.
With no internal drive, it stands up to a lot of
like,
abuse.
Even in the 2013 E3, where Sony fucking ripped Microsoft's throat out, there was no direct acknowledgement. There was no, like, Microsoft. They never said Microsoft. They just subtly did it, and people got the message. You can tell, like, back in these days, they have to fucking spell it out. Because they're like, look at us, we're better than Sony because look at our bar charts.
Built on the back of exclusive must-have titles. Game Boy never would have built its initial audience without the appeal of Tetris and Super Mario Land.
You know, two classics.
Stratosphere without Pokemon. These are games that launched only on Game Boy.
That's true.
Sony, just
They
like
were the
Nokia
cornerstones. They
and
were the
others,
cornerstones.
have to find a killer application before they can truly appeal to the mass market. So bottom line, Game Boy set an all-time record last year.
I don't think they ever found a killer
more systems than any other year in our history. And now, with the wireless play and the video playback, suddenly that appeal is that much
audio
greater.
cutting.
In the end, though, it's still about the games. And this year, you'll see Donkey Kong Country 2, F-Zero 2, The Legend of Zelda,
Minish Cap.
Mario Advance, Mario Party, and Mario Pinball.
Fucking 3 Mario games that no one cares about.
Together,
no one cares
for
about.
Both Game Boy Advance and Nintendo GameCube. The stars truly are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a solid lineup. Oh shit, here we go. Into another sizzle reel. Paper Mario 2 is a really cool game that I never played. But I know people love Pikmin 2 again. Never been a Pikmin guy, but there's a chance. The Four Swords. Four Swords is just one of those Zelda games I'm not sure I ever will play, because the conditions in which to play it are just so ridiculous. Jungle Bee. Yes, obviously the bongos are a big thing at this point. You know, that's, yeah, there we go. So the E3 2004 is also the first time that we get EAD Tokyo represented. So very cool. Some more stuff on Donkey Konga. I guess the second game, like the first one must have been out at this point. Geist, yes, Geist. It's a very interesting GameCube title that I am also wanting to have a look at some point. But yeah, a lot of it comes down to they need to put Virtual Console to get that shit out. It's just, look at these fucking... These stupid fucking, like, the way that they present all these games is... It's just the thing that gets me is the font. The font at the bottom of the screen, and also the music. The music is so... It's so early 2000s, like... We're not like in the dubstep era, obviously. We're in the like the kind of, I don't know, like weird rocky, strange, like this is epic music for these epic video game kind of thing. Like it's not quite 90s. It's kind of progressing from that, but still. Hey, look, third-party games. Lol. We all know our Tales of Symphonia. We all know that Nintendo is well known for their third-party games. But as you can see, Capcom with their Capcom 5, Killer 7, Resident Evil, in Beautiful Joe. What else did we have? I can't remember now. But lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. THQ. Terminator 3. This looks terrible. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, everyone's favorite game, right? Everyone loves a bit of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Jesus Christ. There we go. There's Beautiful Joe 2. Oh, the Piano 3. Is it Piano 3? I think Piano 3 was part of the Capcom 5 as well, so. Ah, the days when Madden was still on a Nintendo platform. Am I right? Right. This is the thing with the GameCube era is they were on par technically with the other platforms, and there was no real reason for third parties to, you know, balk their ports. Might as well just put them on there because it was kind of same thing.
What we've talked about today are can't-miss products for Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance.
Oh,
Games
yeah.
you'll be playing very soon. But there's something else in our future.
Come on, Reggie. Give me something else in my future. Or should I say my past?
I know that a lot of the portable gamers that we have, and there's millions of them.
I think the dual screen is going to be amazing. It's about changing the way you
dual.
play.
I think that the dual screen is the next leap forward.
I love how they're just
looks
calling
like
it
a
the
really
dual
neat
screen.
It's two screen systems, never been done before.
Oh,
I think everybody
audio
else is gonna have
cutting.
to catch up.
All my friends were talking about the dual screen coming out. I can't
The
wait.
dual screen.
I can't wait to see it.
The dual screen. It sounds so stupid, but I mean that's what it's codenamed for. It's just funny when
Well,
you
the
think
wait
about
is
it,
over.
because you know,
This
in the
is
future of the
Nintendo
system,
DS.
the idea of dual screen like is just such an integral part of the system that no one even thinks twice about it. It's just the DS, right? But like, it's just funny the way they're all talking about it in that
From the
sizzle.
time we announced its code name, you've known these initials to represent the most obvious feature, dual screens.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not what the initials stand for to us.
That's the fascinating thing
DS
about
has a much
DS.
larger and
Because it
more
was a
relevant
code
meaning.
name. It was a
DS,
code name, but it was such a good
developer
code name that
system.
they stayed with it.
In creating DS, we've given the world's most talented game makers new tools to work with, new ways to express their imaginations.
I mean,
And
this
of
is
course,
pre-iPhone.
In the end,
And
new enjoyment for all of
Touchscreen
us.
on devices,
The result is
not a
this.
big thing.
DS not only changes Nintendo, it changes our industry.
Also, if you
You'll
notice,
find Nintendo DS
this version of the DS
represents
never
a
came
brand
out.
New way
This
for
is the
players to
prototype
relate to their
version.
games and to each other. Listen to the experts.
Because of course it was redesigned before launch, but this is very much more prototyping one. I actually prefer this design. I was really annoyed when they had the
Nintendo
actual
came down and presented
model.
the DS platform to us just about a month or so ago. I think everyone was in shock.
When I told the functions of DS to our creators, they were very excited and eager to work on new development. They really liked DS.
The introduction of Nitro, or the DS,
Nitros.
is
There
going
you
to
go.
allow us to take handheld gaming to the next level.
Nitro was like its
The history of the
pre-code name.
platform in the last 10 years is that improvements were made on
Squyo
only certain
Chiwara.
functions. It has been a long time
Well,
since the platform
his
itself
company's
changed
down the shithole
With
right
the
now.
DS, I think they set the next
Oh,
standard
jeez.
across the board for all kinds of things.
It's going to generate such a new way of playing games that is going to generate automatically more emotion.
Automatic. Who's this fucking David cage, it's going to generate automatically more emotion, because we need emotion in our games. The touch screen, you touch a girl's boobies and it will evoke emotions.
We're expecting to change the
Fucking
content of
hell.
the game, how to play the game, and how to make the game.
Get out of here!
DS will continue Nintendo's great success.
Yes, great success indeed.
Handheld gaming market.
It's very innovative technology that is clearly focused on immersing the consumer into the gaming experience.
I was so excited. Man, I saw the screenshots of this in official Nintendo magazine, or should I say Nintendo official magazine at the time, because it was NOM back then. It was exciting.
As a whole, the development community already understands what's going on here. I like to think of it like buying a car. Admit it.
Yeah, right, because buying a DS is exactly like buying a car, isn't it, Reggie?
What's the horsepower?
It's a fucking
the
analogy.
Capacity, the 0 to 60. That's our competitor's approach.
Okay.
But your right brain is different. There's only one question out there. Sitting behind the wheel, where will this baby take me? In other words, do you want to go just a little bit faster down the same streets you've always driven, or down a new road to places you've never seen before?
That's his DS PSP analogy, and it's kind of on point.
How this new journey
Funnily
is
enough,
going to happen.
kind of on point.
Up to now, most of what the world knows about DS are those two screens. Today, it's my privilege to tell you the rest of the story.
Tell me the rest of the story, like it has a touchscreen and a microphone and Wi-Fi.
Each is programmable in 2D or 3D. The choice is up to the game
Notice
designer.
using 2D and 3D in the traditional sense. Of course, not like the 3DS 3D, not stereoscopic.
The 3D quality is simply beautiful.
Basically
Most of you
N64.
remember
If you
how
want to
you
call that
felt the
beautiful,
first
Reggie,
time you
sure,
saw
that's
Super
fine.
Mario 64 on Nintendo 64. It was a breakthrough that took the industry by storm.
So here's the interesting thing.
But this is Nintendo DS.
Mario 64, when it was announced here, was posited as just a multiplayer game.
Just as you'll see
It was called Mario 64 by 4.
Isn't it exciting?
And people didn't think it was going to be a port, but it ended up being just a port of Mario 64 with some cool stuff. Obviously, they changed stuff. It was the first time I played the game. Was on DS.
Nintendo DS, and he feels like flying.
Of course he does.
Now, how
He's in a
exactly
fucking
do these
DS.
screens get used? Well, again, it's developer's choice. But for starters, one character can stand 2 panels high, or take 2 different perspectives of the same battle, or monitor constantly
Lots of
available
interesting stuff that
maps
you can do
and
with the
menus.
2 screens, and developers certainly did great things
Here's
with them.
a brand new
When we
Metroid
look back
game
at the history.
playing on Nintendo DS.
Well, there you go. That's the one when people just lose their fucking minds. Let's fast forward a couple of years when they're losing their fucking minds because it controls like shit and isn't a very good game. God, like, you'll play it tomorrow and they fucking lose their minds again. I tell you, Reggie is the master of hype and making people go crazy.
Buttons. Just tap the screen where you want to fire.
Oh, look at that! The audible of the tap the screen to where you gotta fire.
Your map positioning and weapons changes are done on the fly. It's just awesome.
Just fucking awesome. Look at me,
but
Reggie.
these screens are just the first of 2s that define DS. Let's move on to the next pair. 2 media bays.
Media bays?
One accommodates DS software.
Oh.
Easily holding games.
Basically
with
backwards
1 gigabit
compatibility.
Of data and well beyond. The other plays all of your favorite GBA games.
Remember in the days when backwards compatibility was just standard issue on everything, right?
That's right. Backward compatibility means an instant library of over 500 titles. And it also welcomes
certainly their third pillar approach,
to
wasn't it?
Your game experience.
Because of course the DS was positioned as a third pillar device.
Consider the most exciting 2
Nintendo was certainly ready to jettison it if it didn't do too well.
2 incredible new forms of player control. This is where the connection to your game really changes. The first is touchscreen, responding to either a stylus or to your fingertip. It's transformative. Whether you're inputting data onto a software keyboard or actually changing the direction or viewpoint of your gameplay, it's truly unique. The combination of 2 screens and touchscreen stands to reinvent gameplay. You can only find this on Nintendo. You can only feel this on Nintendo.
Fuck off.
And besides
you
touch,
can only feel this
talk.
on Nintendo.
The built-in microphone.
Oh
can
yeah,
be married
let's
to
talk
voice
about the
recognition programs.
fantastic capabilities of the DS microphone,
means
because that was a
your voice
revolution.
and only your voice
Oh,
can control
and by the
play.
way, it only works in like 3 games
Together,
because we're
touch
smart and we're
voice
Nintendo,
open vast new
and we
realms
offer
of game
online
interaction.
games
If you're
for which.
looking for the future of gaming,
Stupid.
look at the interface.
I mean, they did try and use it with stuff
Finally,
like
my
Phoenix
favorite
Wright
too.
for like
Dual
objection.
wireless capability.
There you go. Here's the wireless. They
The
used it with
first is a proprietary
WarioWare.
application that
I
allows
think
up
there was
to
some microphone
16
use
people
there.
to play
It was
and
very much like
communicate
a first
together.
generation
The
thing.
range
Obviously,
extends
Nintendogs
up
and
to
brain
100
training.
feet.
Those are the big
Think
ones.
about different seats in an office,
But, like,
a lecture hall, an
I don't know.
airplane. Who says they can't all become connected playgrounds? And with Nintendo DS, local wireless takes on a whole new definition.
No more link cables.
Specifically, imagine instant chat and draw. transmitted
Instant
exactly
chat and
like you
draw.
created in your handwriting.
No one says that.
Your little works of art
Instant
will look
chat
the
and
same
draw.
way on other screens as they do on your own.
The promise of PictoChat, of course, was brilliant,
DS will even connect
but
for
it
you,
wasn't online.
springing to life
Although
in
at the
sleep
time,
mode,
like, I
once
didn't
you're in
care.
range of
Me and my
someone
friends
else
would just
transmitting in group
play
format.
PictoChat. Like, okay, so I'd go over to
what if your
Bali's
friend
house,
is more
and
than
Bali
a
and
few
I would
feet
just
away?
be in
Say,
different
a few
rooms
time
when we went to
zones
bed,
away.
and like, you know, obviously we're supposed to go to bed early because
No
we're children,
problem.
and so, yeah, here's the Wi-Fi compatibility. So yeah, we would just sit there and be like, go on PictoChat, go on, and then we'd go on PictoChat and we'd
Wi-Fi
just
means you can
fucking
connect via
draw
the
shit
net.
and write shit
It's
to each other.
beyond online. It's
Because we
no
didn't have
line.
phones at that time. Like, it was really cool. I thought
In
PictoChat was
all,
fucking cool,
this
but
machine truly is transformative.
you know,
it changes
obviously
how you
has its
connect to your
limitations.
games and to each other. There's no reason to take my word for it. Instead, listen again to the developers who are already working on it. Their eyes are fixed firmly on the game horizon,
Absolutely.
mapping entirely new routes with Nintendo DS.
Well, here we go. Another sizzle trailer. And yes, okay. Well,
We
this
look
is
at the Nintendo
definitely
DS as the
telegraphing
next
the
generation
future.
portable gaming.
There's
It's
no doubt
more
about that.
advanced, fully 3D.
You look at
two
like the.
screens allow for new
Okay, so you
gaming.
got the idea of the
I
four
think
kids sitting on the bench,
brighter
right? That
display,
is
and I think this new memory form
very.
is really going to set the
I
standard
don't know what's the
for
word.
how handheld devices are going to be created in the
It's basically
future.
setting the stage for what they did with the
What I
Wii,
like
with like
best is
just
the
the
touch panels. The idea
the
of just
adverts
touching
of
is
lots of
wonderful.
people around a
Yeah.
TV and,
It's the
and
touch
stuff
panels
with
that make
that
things
stuff, like
easy.
the community
The
idea
games
and
that took a very
showing
complicated
people
operating
using the
system and
system.
input system may be more
Kind of the touch
player-friendly by
generations
using touch
ideas.
panels. The function will enable us
That,
to
all
try
that
more
stuff is
interesting things.
it's being telegraphed here,
And
which is
one of
really
the most
fascinating when you look at
exciting
it.
parts
Like
of playing
this screen
video
here,
games is
you got these
competing with
4
your
girls
friends
sitting down
and
on
your
park bench,
family and,
all pulling out
be able to
DSs, having a
compete
fun
with a
time.
live
The
person
focus on
is
the
just
experience and
ultimately
the
the
person
most
playing
exciting
rather
part
than
of a
the
product.
actual game
The fact
itself,
that,
and that's pretty much
a format
the
like
baseline of
Nintendo DS
Nintendo's
supports that kind
marketing
of multiplayer is
going
tremendous
forward from
because
that
it really
point,
allows
you know, into the
games to get to the
Wii
next
era.
level.
So,
We can use 4 screens.
oh my
when
man,
played
Keiji
by 2
Inafune.
players, maybe even 6 screens or 8 screens. The
Was there
number of
ever a
screens
DS Mega
increases
Man?
rapidly, and
I
that
feel like
kind of
there wasn't a
possibility
DS
of
Mega
expansion
Man.
makes us excited.
I feel like that is somewhat of a crime as well.
Right now,
Unfortunate.
driving a lot
But
of
hey, you know,
creativity in the
Mighty
studios.
Number 9 coming out
How
this
we're
year,
gonna use the
looking
wireless.
pretty good.
What
That's
can we
certainly
do
one
with
that I have
two
my eye on.
screens? What about the touch
May well
screen?
turn out to be this
That's
year's
really
Shovel Knight,
focusing on
Mighty
game
Number
designers
9.
on trying to build
You
games
know,
entirely new
Mega
ways.
Man, I guess pseudo successor. So, absolutely, that seems really fun.
What you've heard and what you've seen don't begin to tell the DS story.
All right,
you can't
keep
start
telling
to
it, Reggie.
appreciate it until you get your hands on one starting tomorrow.
Wait, what?
And even
Oh,
then, it's
I
just
thought he
the
was. I
start.
thought he was just saying like it was being
Benefits of
released
DS will
tomorrow,
be
and I was like, wait,
rolling
that didn't
out for
happen.
months
I
and
know
years
history.
following
I lived this. He's
And
just
when
talking
will
about the
that
E3
launch come?
Convention Center.
We're targeting release of Nintendo DS in both Japan and America this year.
Oh, everyone goes so crazy for that. Unfortunately, Europe left out in the cold. We didn't get
and
DS.
Australia in the first quarter of next year.
Right, we didn't get it until like March.
It will come to the market.
So,
it will come to the market.
I got mine
with
early.
A new name and at an affordable price.
With a new name. See, notice that he says it will come to the market with a new name. They did not intend to keep the DS moniker, but it stuck. And it was a good name.
The change that DS represents, and indeed all of the new Nintendo, is happening under the leadership of our worldwide president, Mr. Satoru Iwata. Please join me in welcoming him.
Here we go, the big man himself, Satoru Iwata. How long has he been president now? I think it was 2001 or 2. It's been a good 15 years or so.
Thank you.
Look at him.
Nintendo was proud when we introduced.
He looks so much younger.
With the NES.
Compare him to like what he looks like in Nintendo Directs today, and you can really tell.
Two-player gaming with the NES.
He's no Sakurai. He's no Benjamin Button.
On Nintendo 64.
Unfortunately.
Proud of that analog joystick.
You can clearly tell, like the way his eyes are working and the way he's speaking. I mean, you know, I don't want to belittle him because he does not speak English very well at this point, and you know, he's a Japanese person speaking. I find it funny. He's clearly looking at this teleprompter and then like very obviously like looking back.
I think we are most proud of this.
Oh, and then he pulls it out, like just like he did with 3DS. I think with 3DS he was doing a similar thing. I want to emulate what he did here with DS, trying to get the pictures for the
All of those
media.
innovations changed games, and so will Nintendo DS. DS is not simply new. It's not just more functions or higher specs. It is different.
It is very different. It was radically different.
Course,
I mean, crazily.
Nintendo DS is not the only change in our future.
I just like the way he walks.
That same word, different, also defines our approach for.
You can really break down Nintendo executives into characters of their own.
It wants to simply include new technology.
Nintendo push that envelope nowadays more than ever. Like you think the Nintendo Direct from 2014, where they had Iwata and Reggie, you know, fighting off, squaring off in Smash Brothers. That was like that's such a characterization of them.
Beefing up those graphics will not let most of us see.
I think it totally built from E3 press conferences as well.
So what should a new machine do? For both game creators and game players, new machine needs to do much more. They must offer an unprecedented play experience, something no other machine has delivered before. The definition of a new machine must be different. I want you to know that Nintendo is working on our next system. And that system will create a gaming revolution.
Oh, wait,
Internal game development is underway.
Wait.
When the impact of the new home machine comes, our revolution will be there.
Wait, is he going to show it now?
I suppose I could give you a list of our technical specs.
I can't remember.
I believe you'd like that, but I won't for a simple reason.
For a simple reason, I'm not going to give you the technical specs because, you know, the Wii is going to be underpowered compared to the other systems, so that's why.
When horsepower alone made an important difference is over.
Absolutely, right now telegraphing that.
From this time on, we must create something more unprecedented experiences, the same way we have with Nintendo DS. So let me repeat.
Track.
Work on Revolution is well underway.
Work on Revolution.
When you see it, you will be excited because you will
be excited.
A gaming revolution.
Please understand. Please be excited.
With Nintendo DS, video games will be changed.
Man, how fucking rad would it be if they just kept the name Revolution?
I invite you to enjoy the great new experiences
I would have loved that
we are
shit.
creating for Nintendo GameCube and
Nintendo
Game Boy Advance, and of course, the wonderful new Nintendo DS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Iwata. Always a stand-up gentleman. Always indeed. I think we're getting ready for Hype Train now. Time to close it with a bang, right?
Thank you, Mr. Iwata.
Get on our Twilight Princess.
I hope you've all enjoyed our program this morning. But before you leave, I'd like you to step inside one more world for Nintendo GameCube.
Time for the audience to lose their damn minds. Oh man. There you have it. Oh, man, I can't hear the audience. Ah, you know what? I think this version is actually direct feed. This is direct feed, so it's not gonna let us hear the people crying in the crowd. That's really unfortunate. There is a video of that out there. It's probably one of the best-known videos concerning E3. But like, damn, dude, this was just the hype. This was the unmitigated hype. People went fucking nuts. And here, you can hear the after effects of it. And then, of course, we have Mr.
Ladies
Miyamoto
and gentlemen,
himself.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shigeru Miyamoto.
Woo! I have that t-shirt. That's funny. I didn't even realize that's the t-shirt he was wearing on stage. That's great.
I'm not Link, but I do know him.
I do know him.
Even after 18 years, the Legend of Zelda never stops changing. And this game is not
I don't know,
different.
does it never stop changing? Because there are people out there who'd argue it doesn't change ever.
Where Link has grown up.
So.
A world where he will act different.
Different.
Look different.
Ooh.
In order to grow,
interesting
Link must not
wording
stand
there.
still.
Look different, because that is perhaps
And
the
neither
driving
can I.
force behind
So,
Twilight Princess
thank
was
you.
the negative reactions to Wind Waker. Like the idea of Link
Goodbye.
looking different in the sense of being more traditional. Get it on time with the sound. Never have something like that happen these days. Well, probably do actually. There's so many things that happen these days regarding sound nonsense and issues, technical issues. But yeah, I mean, obviously such a backlash for Wind Waker with the art style, and Twilight Princess is a hard U-turn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent my entire career marketing products to teens and 20-somethings.
Selling pizza,
and I
basically.
learned a long time ago.
Selling Reggie, you sold
there's
pizza.
no BSing that audience.
You made pizza.
They want great product.
Pizza.
And they want great value.
Pizza.
They want cutting edge and they want legendary.
Pizza.
They want the best of the past.
They want
and they
a deep
demand
pan,
what's absolutely
pepperoni
right
filled
now.
motherfucking pizza.
Nintendo is delivering all of that.
And
Zelda,
pizza.
Capcom's Resident Evil, Pokemon, Mario, and Nintendo DS all boost the momentum we're carrying into this E3 through the rest of this year and well beyond.
This was a decent showing.
We're giving players what they want for both GameCube and Game Boy Advance. And they're rewarding us with more market share.
I mean, that's what I want Nintendo
Funny how
really
that
to
works.
focus on doing these days anyways.
As you've
is,
seen, Nintendo
give us the
DS
franchises
is
we
not
want, give us the
standing
games
still.
we want, and, you know, with Wii
As
U,
a
certainly
10th serious
2015 is shaping up to be a
decides
year to
make
do
a run
that.
at Game Boy, DS raises the bar on portable gaming before they even get started. Nintendo DS is a third way to play. It defines its own category.
Look at that, even calling out the idea of the third
portable
pillar.
entertainment. And so will
Third way to
Nintendo's revolution.
Come on, show us the revolution
I hope
box.
if we've done anything, it's to show you that this is a new day for Nintendo.
It must be 2005
We
where he
remain
pulls out the box, which is
all about
3
the
DVD
game.
cases.
All about the gamer, or in other words, all about you. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Reggie. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was E3 2004. An infamous show. A fantastic showing, I think, of some great games that they had at the time. You know, certainly things to take away from that is Nintendo's focus on the mature title, their focus on the hardcore fan. You know, Twilight Princess is a direct response to the hardcore fan being annoyed. You know, innovation and kind of the birth of the new Nintendo with DS and Revolution, soon to be Wii, and that, you know, they're already talking about ideas of underpowered consoles and stuff. But yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed going back, watching through this and talking over it for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see some more like this, some more E3 commentary over old press conferences, let me know, and I will get into shape and get them on the way. But until then, do leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts and comments down in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.